Welcome to another episode of Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen. Of course, I'm your host, JJ Kitchen. Guys, big news today that came out of the NIL world for Pitt, and that was Alliance 412 releasing some new information today and a new entity that can really help Pitt attract more business, but more importantly, put more money into the pockets of student athletes at Pitt. Before we get into that topic today, guys, please down below, subscribe to the channel. Please like, comment, and share. This is going to be a very informative podcast today for you guys. Everything that I know from the meeting, especially too, with being there with the media and some fans that were there recently from a Monday night meeting that we were able to attend to go over a little bit of what's going on with the NIL aspect of Alliance 412. We'll get into that today. But of course, guys, please subscribe, like, comment, share. It helps the channel out a ton. We're growing at a rapid rate. Thank you guys for all the support that you guys have in terms of supporting the channel. It's been incredible. The dialogue's always awesome and love talking to you guys. But back to today, the big news today, and we had recently really talked about it, and it's been a phase where really Monday started with the subscription to Alliance 412, and we're going to go over that. But today, Oakland Originals, a marketing entity that is created under the NIL collective of Alliance 412, the first real collective that has added a marketing entity to the NIL collective. Guys, I can't tell you how big this is for Pitt, but more importantly, the student athletes that are currently at Pitt right now. Okay, but not just the current students that are there, but it's the athletes that are going to potentially come to Pitt and the benefits that provides. But the first thing I really want to go over is, one, Monday night, for many of you that don't know, there were a number of us that were invited to a location to where we were able to go with the media. As you can imagine, your regular media people that were there, Noah, who's incredible with Pitt, he was there. Jim Hammett was there. Jerry was there. You had a bunch of people that were there. We were able to talk about just the generic stuff of, hey, what did we personally think? We were not told what to say in terms of what we could say, generalization of, hey, we met with NIL, the Alliance 412, but we could not give any specifics. We signed non-disclosure agreements just because it was a 24-hour rule. They didn't want to ruin the potential announcement that they had for Tuesday, but more importantly, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday that's currently ahead. Was it truly necessary? Maybe not. But I understand why they did it. They just didn't want to ruin any of the stuff that would come out. We'll go over more of that today. But it was overall a really good experience, being able to just see what they had planned, the general questions that we were able to ask. I thought overall it was really cool. More importantly, it was a privilege to be able to be invited there, to be on a short list like that, to where you're able to go into a room like that with people. It's cool, but it's good to see exactly what's going on and to be able to ask questions. That was a very cool thing overall. But in terms of what Monday brought, which was yesterday, one of the things that they brought up, which I thought was really important, was the subscription to Alliance 412. Guys, I can't tell you enough that this is not new to Pitt or the world of college athletics. This was really, really needed at Pitt. Okay, and in generalization too, I want people to understand this. Pitt has been doing a lot in the NIL space in terms of creating opportunities for Pitt student athletes, really through Alliance 412, which again, Alliance 412 does everything correctly. Compliance, you name it. They do things the correct way, and they do things the right way. Okay, you're not going to see what they do down in Tennessee, where they put money into a McDonald's bag and hand it to a student athlete, and then their family, and then they get caught and they're under federal investigation about a year later. That's just not going to happen, guys. I get news for you. This is a clean program. Alliance 412 is the preferred NIL collective of the University of Pittsburgh. Okay, because they do things the right way. There's nothing shady going on. They're doing things the correct way and how they should be done, and creating real revenue opportunities for the athletes that attend the University of Pittsburgh and prospective athletes that attend the University of Pittsburgh, whether it's freshmen or through the transfer portal. Okay. But this is something that was done to one that was needed. Okay. To put it in perspective, Alliance 412 has really been using our mega donors in terms of, donating to Alliance 412 and getting student athletes to attend the University of Pittsburgh, and creating opportunities the correct way, real NIL opportunities, volunteering, podcasts, commercials, being able to be in the community, the Boys and Girls Club of America. You've seen the offensive linemen, or bringing in corporate sponsors or small businesses that sponsor not just the talk shows that people are on, but also too, if the offensive lineman, when Kenny Pickett was here, being able to create a partnership with the Oaklander, things of that nature, whether it's through car dealerships, all that kind of stuff. Alliance 412 has really created that. And to say that Alliance 412 is a big opportunity would be an understatement, guys. This is really what puts Pitt into the competition of everybody else in college athletics. Okay. I think it's important to talk about just how important that is. But in terms of the subscription, guys, I love what they did in terms of bringing everybody into the fold of what really everybody else does around the country. Okay. The first one is a student subscription, which is $10 a month. What does that get you as a student? For the students that are watching this, what does that provide? Let me see if actually I can even present this on the screen here. Let me see here if I can pick it up. Let me see here. Present, maybe extra camera. Nope. Share screen, share screen. Okay, here we go. All right, guys, let's see here. Okay, so as you go through this here, okay, one of the things I want you to understand is this is next level in terms of being able to bring the student athletes on and to be able to not just the students, but also to the general public. This is great for the students, but let's just go over this here real quick. As a student, what you would get, okay, $10 a month, a $20 voucher to the Alliance 412 merchandise store annually. So every year you get $20 worth, but also too, monthly drawing for a meet and greet with an Alliance 412 student athlete at a local corporate sponsor location. Again, guys, corporate sponsors. This is huge for Pitt. This has been going on for a while now. Alliance 412, Chris Bickle, Pelusi, Goldberg. These guys are the best in terms of being able to promote this. But more importantly, getting people into the correct spaces to get these student athletes involved with corporate sponsors. And we'll go over everybody in the organization that we were able to meet with. They're all incredible to begin with. But we'll get to that towards the end. So as a student, this is what you get. And obviously, you must be enrolled as a student at the University of Pittsburgh and have a pitt.edu email to enroll and receive benefits. Okay, that's the first one. The second one is the 1976 Society. Okay, $19.76 a month. Okay, it gets you a $20 voucher to the Alliance 412 merchandise store annually, access to the exclusive behind-the-scenes interviews and storylines, and an invite to an Alliance 412 tailgate prior to Pitt football home games. Guys, cool story behind this. Obviously, 1976, that's the last time Pitt won a national championship. That's what was really created behind this. I thought it was really cool. Me personally, this is actually what I subscribe to. I think it's kind of personal for me, and where I didn't get to see a national championship yet, but I think subscribing and starting to this one right now as it kicks off is really cool and important to me before I start raising up to go into other ones. This is really cool, but obviously the 1976 Society, which will be really cool for everybody. I think this will be a lot of people joining on to this one, but once we get to more of these, you're going to see why more people are going to join these other ones. The next step up, the 412 Club, $41.20 a month, gets you a $30 voucher to the Alliance 412 merchandise store annually, access to exclusive behind-the-scenes interviews and storylines. Also, an invite to an Alliance 412 hosted tailgate prior to a Pitt football game, but also annual drawing for one signed memorabilia item from an Alliance 412 contracted student athlete. And what they mean by contracted student athlete, obviously, is just the student athletes that are that have signed contracts with Alliance 412. That is the biggest thing. Obviously, they come on board to create NIL opportunities. They're able to, whether it's podcasts, commercials, anything to bring on corporate sponsorships, things of that nature that the athlete, the student athlete, is able to go through and get specifics, whether it's through a sponsorship, through marketing purposes. You can do any of those things through one of these. Okay. The next one, the Royal Club, $100 a month, $50 voucher to the Alliance 412 merchandise store annually. Also, access to exclusive behind-the-scenes interviews and storylines. Invite to an Alliance 412 hosted tailgate prior to Pitt football home games. Also, monthly drawing for one-time memorabilia item from an Alliance 412 contracted student athlete. Also, receive a written communication signed by an Alliance 412 contracted student athlete. Finally, a personalized video from an Alliance 412 contracted student athlete. So as you go through this, the more you donate, obviously, the more you're going to be able to get. I think it's pretty cool, especially too, receiving a written communication signed by these guys that take the time out, an NIL opportunity to where they're able to give you guys stuff, and to be able to get involved with it to where they create that relationship between the student athlete and the fans, which I think is really cool. But also too, a personalized video. I think that's really cool, being able to reach out to each individual person, or originally where it could be a family, it could be a single person, it could be a group of people. I think it's really cool, and you're getting more and more as you donate to Alliance 412, and obviously creating opportunities for student athletes, whether they're already at the University of Pittsburgh or they come to the University of Pittsburgh. The gold membership, $250 a month. Obviously, everything that we talked about there. Personalized video, we talked about that in the last one. The two extra ones onto this one, an autographed ball from an Alliance 412 contracted student athlete, but also, too, the ability to direct funds to any of our Olympic sports. So when you go into this, obviously, it's really geared towards football or basketball. But obviously, when you're going $250 a month, you can actually have the ability to direct any of the funds, whether it's all $250, anything else, or if you want to split it 50-50 or 70-30, you can do whatever you want. The more you get, the more you donate, the more you have control over what's going on. But no matter what, all of this money, guys, is going directly to the student athletes. None of the other stuff that where you have third parties, anything like that, it's going directly to the student athlete, okay? And finally, the final one, Alliance Premium, $500 a month. Everything that we talked about before, the ability to direct funds to any of our Olympic sports, but also invitation to attend one exclusive Alliance 412 event, to where you're more than likely going to meet all kinds of athletes, be able to meet them one-on-one, have that conversation, talk about what they like, what are their interests outside of sports, be able to bring the family, really create that relationship with the student athlete and also with the family. And then really what Pitt is trying to do, and then be able to really create that positive culture, that we, not me culture. Alliance 412 has really adopted that and really created an opportunity where you get to meet the student athletes and find out who they are as people, not just the athlete, but as a student, it's someone outside of there, and be able to create that relationship, which I think is really, really cool. Now, obviously here, if I can stop sharing here. Okay. So guys, overall, it's a really cool adaptation of what they're looking to do. That was released on Monday. I think that's huge. It's what everybody else does. Heck, West Virginia does that with Country Roads Trust. South Carolina does that, USC, Miami, along with their donors. That's exactly what they do. Every school has that. That's really what you're competing against. And I think it's, Pitt fans have been asking, what can we do to get involved with the university? How can we help, create ourselves as an initiative and an opportunity to make Pitt successful, but more importantly, competitive. Okay. I think anybody realistically can understand, look, are we going to compete with, the Georgias of the world, things of that nature in terms of how big this gets? Who knows? But I would say right now, unlikely. But it just depends on how committed is the university fan base to this initiative. The more people that donate, the more money that goes into the collective, the more you're able to help and to create more of an opportunity to be competitive in this world where NIL is just all over the place. Alliance 412 is really constricting it, following all the rules, doing things the right way, using NIL as a right way to do things to create opportunities for the student athletes to make money. Now, obviously, today was one of the other big ones, that second announcement, which was Oakland Originals. Okay. It's a marketing entity that is with Alliance 412 that the Alliance 412 is using to be able to market the student athletes and really to learn and teach them how to create their own brand. So when they get the money, but more importantly, helping them create more opportunities for money opportunities and to monetize outside of just the opportunities they're getting there. But also, too, guys, if they're a University of Pittsburgh athlete and they're there for the duration of their tenure at Pitt, whether it's out of high school or the ability to recruit out of the portal when they come into Pitt from the portal, they're able to use this outside of their 4 years in college. That is a major difference than anybody else is doing in the NIL forum. They're able to use these resources even after they leave. Okay? That's what's really the Oakland Originals. Okay? It's talking about how all these student athletes come back, or the legends, okay? Whether it's Tony Dorsett, Hugh Green, Tyler Palco, and any of those guys, Larry Fitzgerald, Aaron Donald, any of those guys. Whenever they come back, Kenny Pickett, when they come back, they're able to use this kind of stuff. They're able to use the software. They're able to come back and be able to use this stuff. That is totally something different than anybody else in terms of the NIL perspective that anybody else is doing. That's huge. I think that, as a recruiting tool, if you come here, you stay here, you develop, you become one of those Oakland Originals, that's huge, guys. And not just that, but also creates opportunities for other corporate entities, corporate sponsors, whether it's the mom and pop shops, whether it's the podcast, anything. They now are able to see, what these student athletes are about outside of it and to create opportunities. This is pretty much like what Olivia Dunn does at LSU. She annually makes over $2-3 million a year because of the marketing aspect. So what really Alliance is doing, Alliance 412, is now being able to connect student athletes to corporate sponsorships, high-level opportunities, whether it's dealerships, mom and pop shops, but now bringing that cash, showing them how to really invest in themselves, what they can do to be positive towards the community, anything they have a desire in, but then attract other corporate sponsors, other companies, other donors, what they possibly want to do. And now you're able to build your net worth, not just in college, but down the road. So when you leave college after 4 years, guys, we know you're going to get 4 or 5 years out of college to play sports. This is an opportunity to create it lifelong after that. Monetize after you leave the University of Pittsburgh. No one else is doing this. Some other schools are just dropping a bag and saying, hey, go on your way. And then when their career's over and they don't make it to the National Football League or the NBA, they're back to square one. This is a teaching opportunity plus connecting to other entities and to other opportunities and corporate sponsorships and to other donors. I mean, what more could you want? I mean, it's creating opportunities to bring in more opportunities for the student athlete to make money. This is huge. You're really differentiating yourself, and you're creating that Oakland Original, which is basically meaning also too former players, Aaron Donald, Larry Fitzgerald, guys like that, Kenny Pickett, Tyler Boyd. Those guys do a lot of stuff for Pitt behind the scenes that you guys don't know about. Okay. Donors, they do a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you don't know about. Whether the money they've already donated that they don't talk about because they want to be behind the scenes, which is what Chris Bickle does. He's not one of those guys where it's a John Ruiz from Miami, where it's got to be him out there. It's got to be him doing everything. It's got to be him talking about everything. Chris is behind the scenes and putting the focal point on the student athlete to create more opportunities. So when the recruitment comes down to an athlete, whether it's a freshman or transfer or a player that's already at Pitt, they're creating opportunities to make money. It's a huge differentiator. It's a huge competition. When you're putting yourself at this point where you're the only one that has a marketing entity attached to an NIL collective, that's big. I know USC is trying to do this in South Carolina. Those are two schools trying to do this right now. They haven't been able to achieve it yet, but they'll probably get there. But right now, Pitt's in a world of their own to where they're able to offer this long-term to student athletes, to build the relationship with the student athlete. It's a major, major advancement. So between the subscription, so it's for 2 days now, Monday and Tuesday. Okay. The subscription, which was number one. And now today you had the Oakland Originals. That's huge, guys. And then as also Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, they're going to have more announcements of things that they're working on. So I want Pitt fans to understand, because I saw some stuff that people were sending me through the DMs like, oh, this is okay. We were expecting this like $30 million donation or whatever. Guys, you don't even realize what's going on behind the scenes to where there's donors already donating. But they're great people and they don't want to be involved in the outdoor noise. There's plenty going on behind the scenes, guys. But this marketing entity today that was announced is to help attract more business, attract people to the student athletes, to where now they're monetizing and making money, not just in the short term, but the long term. This Alliance 412, what they're doing and what Chris is doing, along with Jeff Goldberg and John Pelusi and the whole entire team, obviously Jaster Athletes, Jordan Rooney, who's involved, the marketing agency that's involved here. They're building this long-term to where Pitt will have an NIL collective, not for the next 10 years or 20 years, but for the next 50 plus. This is a strategic corporate plan, to where you're understanding what you want to do long-term. They could slap stuff together and just throw stuff around and just throw stuff off a wall and hopefully it works. That's great. But there has to be a collective understanding that this takes time, but also, too, it takes a fan base to get on board with this. Competing in the NIL space with other universities and now in conference realignment, you got to get jiggy with it. You got to get in the game. Pitt's getting in the game if they've not already been in the game. I mean, did you guys like how good Pitt was leading up to the NCAA tournament and the ACC this year? That's why. That's why, guys. I don't know how else to explain it, that Alliance 412 has a lot to do with a lot of these athletes coming to the University of Pittsburgh. Just saying. And they do it the right way. It's not like what USC or Texas or any of them are doing. It's teaching, it's marketing, it's understanding the relationship basis of the student athlete and to be able to develop them long term. So basically what Alliance 412 is doing is actually living by the mission statement of what we all should live by in terms of what a student athlete is, providing opportunities to build success for now and into the future. Is that not what we should be doing anyways? How can we get the athletes paid, but also creating wealth, not just for now, but in the future? Generational wealth. Giving a kid $1 million or $2 million and just saying, hey, you're on your own. Go do what you want. Cool. Glad we were here to help you. That's not helping them long term. This is helping them long term. Providing opportunities to make money the correct way, and then teaching how do you invest in yourself to monetize and make money for the rest of your life. I expect nothing less of people involved with Pitt, man. That's what it should be about. Helping the student athlete be successful now and in the future. Attracting student athletes in the portal or in high school and showing them this is all the benefits that you're getting on top of the stuff that we don't even see. I can't even explain how big of a development it is. And it was crazy to me to see how some Pitt fans were saying, it's a meh. It's not a $20 million, announcement or whatnot. Guys, this is a development in a baseline. It's like building a house. You got to have the foundation first. This is the foundation. You can't ask for anything more than this. And guess what? Chris Bickle, Jeff Goldberg, and John Pelusi, and every other person that's involved with Alliance 412 is working their ass off for this. I think the best thing we can do as Pitt fans is support them. So what I can tell you is this, from what we were able to talk about Monday night, the questions that were asked by the media, which, good for them. They did a good job asking questions, where the opportunities are coming from. You'll hear more about that, corporate sponsorship, stuff like that. But overall, guys, me personally, Pitt fans should be very excited about how Pitt is 100% bought into this. Bought in. You're going to see universities out there. Perfect example, Syracuse. Would you rather be Syracuse where they flat out say, well, we want nothing to do with NIL. They're about to die. I mean, they're going to drop off. Their biggest donor, they push to the side. This is a huge opportunity, a huge development, a baseline, the foundation of what they're building long term. It starts somewhere. Heck, Ohio State, when they started their collective, it was crappy. I mean, it was horrible. But where they are now, 2 years later, it's panned off. It's worked off. That's my thoughts for today. Guys, again, thank you guys for supporting the channel. Hope you share this to really educate other people in the PITT community about what this means and how important this is. What it means. And I'll never tell you what to do with money. That's the first thing. Telling you right away, make your own decision. But it's a great opportunity to be involved with the student athletes and to help them. But more importantly, support the University of Pittsburgh. Again, guys, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment. I'd like to hear your thoughts. What did you think of the announcement? Did you learn something from this video? Other content you want to see? Are there questions that you have? Please send me questions, whether it's on Twitter. You can find me at JJ_Kitchen40 or the comment section down below here. Send me questions. I'll be glad and happy to answer them, or even create another video as we go on throughout the week, which I'll probably do with more of the announcements coming out. So again, guys, thank you all for your time. You guys are the best as always and forever. Hail to Pitt. I'll see you guys around.